IVM.
And there's another week of us chattering and chittering away. Hi, Farhad.
Did you say chattering or chattering?
Ah,
Oh, chattering and chittering. Okay. I don't know why, because I've heard breaking, shattering the
not
glass ceiling. I read
shattering,
it.
like chatter,
Okay,
talk.
got it. नहीं मैं इतना पढ़ा था shattering the glass ceiling.
My
Is
God, we
is
just
it
talking.
Kamala Harris? Kamala, right?
I mean, she calls herself Kamala Harris, Kamala
Kamala.
JB Harris. Oh my God, it was such, and just for everyone, I know we're recording this like obviously a couple of weeks in advance. So yesterday
Yeah.
was the inauguration, and it was, I mean,
Taja.
yeah, and so literally, so throughout the US election, that nightmare, fortnight that happened, I remember my friends and we were all up every evening. We would call and we would be like, yeah, what's going to happen? Oh my God. And one of them actually stays in Texas. So she was like,
Okay.
oh my God, I'm so scared because she stays in a Democratic neighborhood, but then that neighborhood surrounded by red neighborhoods. So, and yesterday, basically after and it was quite late after the inauguration speeches and all of that, I got together with all of my friends, and it just feels good. And that's one of the few things that has come out of that, the positives that has come out of the pandemic. My connection with my best friends from college, like it's, I'm so glad that the distance doesn't matter anymore, because previously we used to feel like, okay, so we're so far away, maybe like that effort's too much. But now just one phone call away, everyone's one phone call away, and it just feels so organic like I just, it's such a pleasure to have best friends that are kind of lifelong best friends. And do you have any, do you have this, they say if you've been friends with someone for like 7 years or more, you'll be friends for life. Do you believe that?
As in, this is the first time I'm hearing of it.
Oh, really?
But I don't know, there was a certain time beyond which there's a because I've had express friends also. But yeah, I get it. Because if I look at the people I'm closest to, first of all, I don't know why the older I get, the more I find the term best friend very like proprietary. How do I say this? I find it odd saying it. It's like happy birthday, When I was a kid, I used to sing it crazy, like happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
But the older I get, I find it very weird to sing happy birthday. Like that, I feel like even saying the word best friend sometimes, because I actually have multiple best friends like that.
I totally agree.
I have multiple best friends, but then in context, I can't call them best friends because I might not know them well enough and all, but they know me and I know them. But like, it's not like we've had time behind us or like we've had some crazy like times together. Like so many people. I'm not kidding. I have 2-3 people who I consider like immensely good friends. I've never even met. I made them online over the years, and because they are in different continents and all, I've never even like met them. But I totally say that person's my best friend. Like, so I don't know. Over time, I just don't know what the term means. But yeah, do I have friends I would like do anything for or go out of my way for, or I seek comfort and solace in? Yeah, I have tons of those.
So I personally don't feel, again, everyone to each their own. We never want to say, I personally never want to say, though, this is something that is ridiculous and you don't have a right to do that. But I personally find the idea of a singular best friend, that's just unrealistic for me, because what I have...
we don't want that from our lover. Why would we want that from a friend?
Well, exactly. But what I have, and I'm so grateful for, is it's like this. It's a group of really, really close friends. And that's why, whenever someone says my best friend, and when someone kind of refers to that one person, I'm
Yeah,
always guilty of being a little cynical about it.
sure.
One of my closest cousins, she sort of refers to, and again, I have reason to be cynical about it, because I've seen those singular bonds sort of erode over time. And
Ah,
whereas whenever I've seen a group of people as best
mm,
friends, like it's a circle of best friends, I've seen
yeah.
that kind of really, really prosper and bloom. So again, I know I'm guilty of being judgmental here, but then I've also seen, sort of, with couple of people in my life, that idea
Yeah.
of a single best friend um, becoming a little bit codependent, and that kind of,
Okay.
it devolves into a little, into having threads of toxicity over time, where they can't do without each other, in a very unhealthy way.
These are LGBTQ friends
It's
or
a
like
mix of
non-L?
it's a mix of, I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
it's across the
Sure.
category, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so what's your view on this idea of a single best friend? A lot of people
never,
believe it.
never. See, how do I see it, right? Like, if someone asks me, Farhad, what's your favorite song? I'm suddenly fumbling for words because I have
Hmm.
5,000 great songs.
Yeah.
But if you ask me who's my best friend, I know who my best fucking friend is. There's only one that like that.
Hmm.
But I can't discount what other friends also do for me that
Hmm.
sometimes my best friend doesn't do for me, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I guess this is something we'll over this topic as we discuss as I'll
Hmm.
come to. But I don't know if other people do this, but I have friends based on
Needs.
different, on different criteria.
I
And I'll give you an example.
completely get it. Completely get it.
Because my best friend, if I sit and show him memes and stuff, he'll be like, "You're such an idiot. Please don't show me this."
Hmm.
He hates it. He's very like technologically a little divorced. He's like, divorced is the wrong word, but like, he's technologically a little
Associated.
far
Yeah.
away. Yeah, yeah. Like to him, if I send him memes and stupid videos and cat videos and all, he's like, and he sometimes sees my Instagram stories and he's like, "Why the fuck do you share so many Instagram stories?"
Hmm.
Whereas
Yeah.
I have other friends who have that kind of dirty memes, deep fried memes kind of friendships with,
Hmm.
who I can be stupid around. And again, I can be all of this around my best friend, but it's just like, I feel like I've noticed over time that like fuck buddies, I
Hmm.
have different friends who I like for different reasons.
I,
And
you
each of
stole the
them,
words from my mouth. Like, you stole
nah,
these words. Yeah.
and each of them brings something. So I genuinely know that when it's like discussing sex, I have a friend who I can openly discuss sex
Hmm.
with. If it's life and philosophical, then I have my best friend. Like if I'm like real deep, intense, like whether from suicide or to like basic stuff, I can talk to my best friend. But when it comes to like job related shit, I don't really burden my best friend with it. I
Hmm.
have a friend who
Hmm.
I have those kind of conversations with because she gets it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It's happened naturally. It's never been like, oh, this person I'm going to talk to about financial issues.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
I've over time I've just felt like, hey, this person gives me really good financial advice.
Hmm.
This person gives me good freelancing advice.
Hmm.
This person gives me good sex advice or like, and it's not always about advice. It's just that's the nature of my dynamic with them is that bonding has happened over that particular
Hmm.
thing then.
Got it.
So that's how I have friends. And again, to say that the main friend trumps all the other friends, that would be like a grave injustice in my head because all of them are important. But yeah, if I had to give a kidney, I have a friend.
Hmm.
I have that one friend who I totally blindly give a kidney to.
Hmm. Got
But
it.
yeah, and sometimes also like, do you have a large network like that, like
So
of
here's the
friends?
thing, okay? I and I guess a lot of queer people who are listening to me would identify with this. I think this
Mm,
realization that we can't depend on one particular entity for everything the way a lot of straight people can. We can't depend on two parents or a set of parents for parental sort of love, all the parental guidance and love. We realize that the lucky ones amongst us, we realize it pretty early. And as a result of that, we kind of delegate, we kind of, we,
Delegate's a good one.
yeah, and we kind of split that responsibility very subconsciously, subliminally, split that requirement and dependency across people, and hence the chosen families come into account. And same with and again, I don't want to get into a mass generalization, but even with when it comes to partners, there are people who I've had sex because our sexual chemistry is amazing, and then there are people who I have intimacy, which is not necessarily physical, it's not necessarily raw animal sort of sexual intimacy. It's just very soft intimacy where we're just very caring about each other. And then there are people in my life who have that almost we are asexually friendly with each other, and we totally understand that. And that's the same thing when it comes to friends. And I think the whole idea of splitting what we require into different people is what has worked for me. And the thing with me is, I don't have a large network, but I do have a network of very, I have close networks. Like I have around three or four networks of very closely knit, dense relationships. And the thing with these relationships is they are not based off of different requirements, but these are based off of different phases of life that I have gone through, because I've hopped, skipped, jumped throughout my life a lot. Sometime, I used to have a circle from Ranchi, which I'm totally divorced from. I have two separate circles from Calcutta. I have a circle from my SIMC days. I have a circle from, ex-glitch days, a lot of ex-glitch employee circle. And then I have the current glitch circle. And then, of course, the other, the miscellaneous sort of, the queer people, this and that. So I have very close, I wouldn't say I have 20,000 friends. I just have, each of these circles has 4 to 5 people max, max. And we just happen to be very, very intimate and very close to each other. And I think that's how it works in my life. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm sure it happens to all of us in that sense, because once, depending on what age you are, how your life trajectory is, you do add and subtract people along.
Oh, 100%.
That constantly, I certainly over time have realized that with every job I have a certain set of professional friends that I keep, who, even though I've quit that company or they've quit a company or whatever, somehow we managed to stay in touch, or we still they are friends. So as you go and explore different aspects of life, different aspects of your own life, you start working and you start move to a different city, and then maybe you go out clubbing, and then all these things, as they start getting added to your life, you start creating all these pockets of friends.
True.
And I don't want to fast forward already, but then there's a big part of your life where you also drop a lot of friends eventually. That happens,
100%, 100%. And I think as you grow older, one of the most crucial things that, everyone will go through is, this idea of, because I remember I've had bouts of these really best friends people. I used to say, oh, I'm best friends with this person. And then as you grow older, you start realizing that, this ain't shit. There's nothing here.
And it's not even about sure, you let go of the toxic people, which is one of the best feelings. You let go of the people who don't add anything to your life. That's an amazing feeling. But sometimes you just see friendships for what they are. They are
Sometimes
not.
it's just not a fit. That's all there is to it. Like,
Yeah,
just
and
not a fit.
you don't want to make that effort, and that person obviously doesn't want to make the effort. And there
Yeah,
will be times where even a person wants to make the effort, but you don't want to be a friend because what's the point, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll give you an example. I had a friend who we were very like chummy together. We were very this, but then she moved to a different city. Yeah. And then she constantly tried to this Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and and I kind of outgrew that friend, and then over time I was like, "Hey, why do we keep like And then it became like a you never reply to my messages, you never this,
Mm,
and that kind of shit." And I was like, had you done this while we were friends, also like in the same city, I don't think we would have been friends. So now it's like I'd
mm,
not say that, but these things change and the dynamics change, and like so much happens, and friends come and go.
mm,
But then certain ones stay, and I guess that's the topic. That's the topic we're discussing today, which is the friends who stay and who, for some odd reason, just are invariably you're tied to for life, not for life. I don't know about that. Those are again nobody knows that shit, but they play such an important part in like just
yeah.
not be again. And I'm coming from a place where sometimes I'm constantly terrified that I there are two parts to this. Yeah. First of all, it's very difficult for me to establish am I a friends person or no, because I'm one of those people who went from being an extreme extrovert to being a total introvert,
Mm,
over time. And by introvert, I mean like I'm not someone who actively goes out, meets up with friends, goes for dinners and all. Yeah, sure, I do that. But it's with a very, 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 very focused, limited set of people.
mhm.
So sometimes what happens is, especially, in cities like Bombay, where everyone kind of, you hang out in the same circles and everyone knows everyone and stuff. Sometimes I go out, like, let's say, even for a gay party, because at one point I knew everyone, but now I've not actively stayed in touch. I constantly get surprised. Holy shit, how do I know so many people? By the number of people end up who come say hi
Yeah,
to me,
yeah,
or
yeah.
I go and I'm like, oh, this guy, like,
Mm.
even,
Got
art
it.
night in Bombay, like that art night that happens every Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for that in town, and I was just surprised. Every gallery I would go, I would keep running into people from like an next
But
job,
that's
someone
not
I know. But
friendship. That's not friendship. What I'm saying. So I think we should delineate the idea of friendship from acquaintance. You will make hundreds and thousands of acquaintances throughout your life.
sure,
They do
sure,
not
sure.
a friend make. A friend, I mean, and that's
Oh,
what I want to
don't kid.
but that's what I want to ask you. What, according to you,
Yeah,
before, like, let's answer. I want to get your answer, and then we should go into a quick break and then resume.
yeah, sure,
But
sure, sure, sure.
what is that one thing in your head, if you have to analyze in today, like today,
Yeah, yeah.
what is that one factor that bonds a friendship for you? And it's not
Uh,
about,
okay, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. I
chemistry,
know.
obviously, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is that one thing that without which you feel like ये friendship नहीं रहेगा, it will be an acquaintance?
Okay. Friendship. I can answer a different variation of your own question, which is what I think made my good friends stick for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that is over time, the more I grew up, I realized I'm a complex, layered human being.
Hmm.
And the people who see me simple for who I am with the complexities that I come with, those are my friends.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I mean, sure, I get. I mean, but then that's even
you're
someone.
saying what does not mean.
No. In the sense, how do I put it? Someone who can see you for who you are can still not be your friend. That can be someone who just respects you. That can be a colleague. But what is it that forges a friendship? Is there something that forges a friendship for you, and that kind of makes it like indelible for you? Or
That's it. It really, I know, accepts me for who I am is a very oversimplified answer to your question. But I genuinely like to believe that I, I feel like the ones who get me,
But
They
that's
get me.
what I'm saying is
It's not
it's
like
a
other people have an
no,
issue
so
getting me or
I'll
understanding me.
I'll kind of clarify what I mean. When you
Yeah.
say that, that's a very it's not, we are talking about people's.
Why did you answer it? Then maybe I'll know what you're trying to
No,
say.
I
Like
don't want
you're
to. I don't want to.
okay,
I
okay.
want to hear your answer. Um, what I mean is, see, what we are talking about here is people's allegiance to you. What I'm saying is a
Hmm.
two-way street.
Okay.
What makes that two-way street work? Like, what is it from your end, according to you, that clicks there,
Okay.
and what is it that from their end clicks for you, and what is that one common factor that makes things happen in a friendship?
Just okay. Just a deep understanding of the other individual, and like me understanding them and them understanding me. And secondly, just I can't help but be a little cliche, but you know that whole a person you can be silent around and they just get it.
Got
I
it.
really have
No, it's
that kind of
that's fair. I mean, that's a
yeah.
I get that. Like I feel that about romance, for example. Someone I can
I was just gonna say yeah. That's what I look for in a lover too.
yeah, like
Sometimes someone I can
I can just be silent around the person can be a silent support around me because
yeah.
but yeah, like I get what you're saying.
It's so funny. I know if my best friend is listening to this, he's gonna laugh his head out because all I do is talk. So when I say shit like, "Oh my god, who understands my silence?" He's like, "Machada lore, get the fuck out of here. You're anything
What
but
was
quiet."
that?
But but yeah, again, it's just a deep fundamental. And again, I can't help but okay, if I have to think of that one friend who I'm like, and like the way he's accepted me, I felt very rarely accepted in my life. And how do I say that? It doesn't. I don't mean acceptance in terms of oh, other people rejected me. Not luckily, touch would be. I have luckily, I don't know what I've done right in my life, but I have been widely loved and appreciated as an individual
Hmm.
throughout my life. Yeah. But for some odd reason, when Mikhail, my friend, came along, I don't understand. Like, he understood from one spectrum to another. He understands what I am at my funniest, but he also understands what I am as a suicidal human being.
Hmm.
And now those are extreme opposites, right? And it's easy with him to show that range. You know, with anyone else, I feel like this person doesn't need to know all this about me.
Hmm.
But with him, it was never like I had to tell him this shit or I felt like I had to be comfortable enough to reach a point to say that it just came naturally. And to give you an example of how we became friends, a quick example, it might be like a quick look into why it was so simple how we became friends. I literally did not know this guy at all.
Hmm.
We were actually just I was going to a friend's house in Mahabaleshwar, and my friend Mikhail, who I had never like hung out with, okay, he also happened to be going to Mahabaleshwar.
Hmm.
So whose house we are going to? He's like, hey, why don't you guys come together?
Hmm.
Like, why don't you guys drive down together? Because Mikhail's driving, Farhad, you can just come with him.
Hmm.
And there was a landslide, and we were stuck in a traffic jam for around 6 to 8 hours.
Wow.
And in those 6 to 8 hours, I knew this is my guy. Like, what a guy. Like, the music was perfect. The traffic jam did not seem like a bitch. We laughed. We had the best. I love, like what I mean? Like, I instantly knew in that moment, this guy's a keeper. Like, I'll never not be friends with this guy.
Hmm.
And touch wood, I'm telling you, like, they say things like, it's important in relationships to fight for it to be stronger, and it's important, like bad things to happen. Wow, me and Mickey have never fought. Fucking, I'm touching wood like crazy right now.
Yeah,
But
don't say that because again,
yeah,
like
no. And he's the one who moved away, who have been kind
yeah,
of in subtle ways saying that he's moving out. This is the first time I'm
yeah.
going to, what is my friendship? Because we've only known each other in this city, and now he's moving out. So how will the dynamic change? I'm excited to see that, but I can blindly say that I know he's one of those people who just like fucking. I'll meet him after 20 years, and it's not even a second wasted. We'll just literally take from where we left off.
Hmm.
So that itself is just an invisible assurance that this is it. This is my friend. This
Got
is
it.
my guy. This
Yeah.
is my human being.
On that beautiful
that's
note,
my list. Yeah.
let's take a quick
Aw.
breather and then we'll be back talking about best friends.
Yeah. The only time I'm silent in a break.
Or not.
Aw. You bet.
All right, we'll be back in a bit.
We'll see you soon. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and LinkedIn too, for that matter. And we've been putting up some content on LinkedIn, so do check that out. I'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Storytel and The Whole Truth Foods. Thank you for supporting us. So, great week on the network again this week. Definitely do check out the Pragati podcast. Pavan spoke to Krish Ashok. They discussed science, knowledge, and the wonder of Indian home cooking. Staying in the realm of food, on This Round Is On Me, we had AD Singh as a guest. Gauri and AD discussed the 10 years anniversary of The Table and the 20-year anniversary of Olive. So two of Bombay's biggest restaurateurs have a conversation about the restaurant business. All Things Policy celebrated 500 episodes on January 27th. Manoj talks to Aditya and Anirudh about the surprising origins of the podcast, its evolution over the last few years, and its exciting future. This episode also marks their video debut, so definitely do check that out on YouTube. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet talks to Ranjit Pratap Singh. Ranjit is the co-founder and CEO of Pratilipi. Pratilipi is a company that's recently acquired IVM, and Ranjit on this episode discusses his plans to build a homegrown media empire, his love for comics, and how India can have its own comic cinematic universe. And finally, Cyrus had an exciting week. We had some amazing guests this week. We had Vishal Gondal come and talk about Fauji. We had Atish Tathir talk about the various issues that he had been facing with his OCI card and other things like that. We had Adam Dow talk about things going on in the US and the evolution of what's happening there. We had Siddharth Kannan come and talk about his history with Cyrus and his new show. So definitely do come check that out as well. And with that, let me take you back to your show.
And we're back. So talking about best friends, okay. A large part of my best friend circle, and I literally amongst my entire sort of circle of friends, there are I can count the men, so to say, in that circle. I've sometimes, and again, I just want to put it out there that, this trope of a gay best friend, I find it a very tired, insulting, diminutive sort of a trope, which is...
Especially to women, the gay best friend to a woman.
I mean...
which we've discussed even.
Yeah, exactly. We've spoken about it. I find that really insulting. Have you ever wondered, are you a gay best friend for someone? Or have you ever been approached by someone who wants you to be a gay best friend without saying it?
No, because I'll tell you why they're backing up the wrong tree. They know it. Because I see other gay best friends of people, especially of straight people, and what the purpose a gay best friend serves in a lot of these is that one person on the side constantly serving sass, probably gives good relationship advice, gives great sex advice.
One second. Not good relationship advice, just relationship advice that can burn you to death. Like, come on, it's us gay men. Like, let's not.
I'm saying if we are talking about the stereotype that we're tired of, it's a lot of times, what should I wear? And I'm the last guy you want to ask. Then you want to burn all my clothes. So I don't fit that trope at all. So I don't know what sort of a gay best friend am I.
I'm sorry. I'm deviating. When you said burn, burn all your clothes, the first thing that came to my mind was burn a crock. And you know why I remember that? Because just last week, seven people messaged me for some reason. Like over the course of 3-4 days, there was this meme about Crocs and burning Crocs, and all of them sent me that. And I was like, oh my God, have I made myself into this stereotype that hates a particular kind of...
I think you very vehemently spoke about Crocs also in one of our episodes.
I think so, yeah. But anyway,
reputation. No, that's pretty much it. I know I don't honestly, I'm not a good friend. I constantly feel like all these people who are amazing to me, I constantly feel like I'm a terrible friend to all my friends. Because it's so about me, which I'm sure sometimes even comes across in the show, right? It's me all the time.
Hmm.
And I feel like I do that with my friends even, where of course, I'm extremely understanding, like problems, all of that, bring it on. I'm a good listener, all of those things. But I feel like a lot of times I don't do enough for my friends. And like it's quick, like I somehow end up always becoming the topic of conversation in all my friendships. So I feel like I'm not a good friend to have sometimes. So
Hmm.
that's just me. That's my assessment of me.
Hmm.
Are you a fantastic friend,
I
Sunetro?
honestly wouldn't be able to answer that, but I do. I am a very giving friend. I'm a very understanding friend in my limited capacity of what I can do. For example, I understand when a friend needs me. I understand. Also, I think that has come only with age, I guess, with I guess shared, and you know, the when you were asking what is that one thing that bonds you, when you are answering that, my what has forged my friendships is an idea of shared experiences, and particularly shared trauma sometimes. um
Mm,
and when that happens, and I don't mean devastating trauma of always, I'm saying the shared idea of struggles, maybe not even us going through something together, but us going through a common experience of struggle together. And that's a common theme across a lot of my friends. And that's where I feel, I sometimes, I understand what capacity someone might need me in. Do I need to be present as a silent sort of,
support.
support,
Yeah.
a feeling of support? Do I need to be absolutely out there just talking that person up? I think I'm good at that, but I do. Yeah, I think that's something I would like to believe, and I hope that I do that well.
I'm sure you do. I do have no doubt you do. Because, I always say this to my friends, especially who I consider close. But like I said, I genuinely sometimes assess, even with my best friend, Mikhail,
Hmm.
like sometimes I feel he's done the world for me in every way, right? Uh, he's looked out for me in every single possible way. But if I had to like assess what have I done, sure, I've been there and I'm physically there, and I've like I love having a great time with him, and I know a lot of times that to him means that he also has a good time. We are constantly funny, we are ribbing each other. There's jokes. There's always that is there, right? But I have, like I said earlier, that I have certain friends who I have not physically met a lot in life, but they are
Hmm.
good friends.
Hmm.
And there are times that people reach out to me, and I'm such a terrible, first of all, digital communicator,
Hmm.
considering that is my job. I'm a great, like, I do
At
social media
work.
for a living, so I'm
Yeah.
always on it. So, but it somehow affects my personal life because I spend so much time on my gadgets and screens
Hmm.
that I somehow never like this. But I always tell my friends, I'm like, in the Batman movies, when Batman is required, they flash a bat signal.
Hmm.
I somehow feel like I'm perceptive about when my friend genuinely needs me.
Hmm.
I will ignore. No, not when they genuinely need me, I will ignore. But usually, hey, this is happening and all of that. And I usually, this is a fluffy problem. This is a serious problem. I just gauge it by that. But there have been times where I've perceptively, even though the person has not messaged me or said there's something wrong, I just see, is everything okay? And more often than not, I get it right. Like, I don't want to say, but like in Bollywood, how they show bete ko kuch hua to maa ko kuch hota hai
Hmm.
kidhar 1,000 miles away. I
Hmm.
genuinely feel that. Actually, I've looked it up. That feeling is called synchronicity,
Hmm.
which is where you get so tuned to another person
Hmm.
that you can somehow always feel there's a shift in
Yeah. Yeah.
energy
Yeah.
of some sort. And I like to believe, like, if there is something I have to say that I think makes me a good friend, is I'm very good at just immediately reaching out when I think things are wrong, and when the person is telling me I don't think it's wrong,
Hmm.
which is quite demented if I think about it, to say it out loud. Uh, okay. I need to know this though, because again, we are an LGBTQ podcast, yeah. Uh, being gay, yeah, a lot of times it's very difficult to differentiate that fine line between are you a fuck buddy, are you a buddy, are you a friend, are you a best friend? That happens a lot. I don't know
Yeah.
if it happens to you a lot, but
Of course it does. Yeah.
it's a part. It's a boundary that sometimes you cross, you don't
I
cross.
agree. Yeah.
Uh, and that's something I did not mention earlier. Why I'm bringing this up is because I actually don't have any gay BFFs. I have no, like, and the ones I do, they mock me for saying the term best friend. I know it.
Mm.
Like, if I call them my best friend, they'd be like, gee, like, get the fuck out of here.
Mm.
What is this best friend bullshit?
Yeah.
I'm not a part of your slam book,
Yeah.
Uh, but so my question to you is, how do you, I don't know, how do you walk that line basically? Like,
So for the longest time, and I think
yeah,
uh, a person's as mature as they consider themselves, like it's there's nothing more, nothing less. I mean, you exercise, you're as mature as your actions. So for the longest time, what I used to the way I used to feel about being mature about this entire demarcation was being transparent with people about also I this is going to be about sex, and we won't kind of venture into a relationship. For the longest time, that's what I used to do. With age, with also, I mean, I've never been into like really younger, like people far younger than me or far older than me. It's usually been sort of, within the ambit of my age, because I've always liked the idea of, equals. And so as I've grown older, I think the people around me who I am also interacting with, sexually or otherwise, are also growing older. And I think there is a sense of clarity in what, not only in me, in terms of what I'm looking for, but also within them.
So they're in the same stratosphere with these people.
Yes. And so if there is someone who says very clearly that, listen, let's have sex, but don't dismiss it if there is something more that comes out of it. And I've started saying sure. And at the same people who say, listen, let's not have sex because I like what we have. I don't want that to kind of dissipate, and that also works for me. I'm not saying that that happens in a bad way, but that does happen to me every now and then, and that has happened. And there are individuals that I've sort of stopped having sex with. I mean, I really take that back. I shouldn't say I've stopped having sex with, like,
it was your decision.
We've stopped having sex, but we go out for dinner and we go shopping and we do stuff like that. We do friend things, and
those are just a little extra special, no? Because you got over the sex is easy, man. Like, sex is so easy. But to make a relationship work, to make a friendship work, it's work. And when you reach that point, it's amazing.
So I think it's just about, for me, I'm fortunate because you often don't have a say in what you get attracted to. I just am fortunate that I'm attracted to people who are my age. I know it can be a challenge if you're sort of doing this with especially someone who's younger, because then your realities are very different. Your space in life, your state of mind, your states of mind are different. So what do you do then? I mean, what do you do?
I've done, because I've been there. First of all, I must say that I'm at a very cute point in life with myself, where I've understood that I've been looking in all the wrong places. And what I've been doing wrong, and it's something you just said a while ago, which is sex became a factor to even figure out friendships.
Got it, yes.
Like, sex became in the forefront to even decide friendships later on, which actually is totally in the wrong direction to go. And when I say I feel like I'm at a good point in life right now, is because I've actually been hanging out with people post-COVID, like, not post-COVID, we are still in COVID, but like, slowly when I started opening up, I'm actually meeting people without the agenda of sex. at all. And this I'm doing after ages, First, because I was so jaded, I constantly felt like the only thing I'm seeking is sex, so nothing more. But now I'm actually like, okay, I just want to hang out with this individual and see what it's like. And when I've actually fundamentally and proactively taken sex off the table, I'm actually able to see the person for who they are for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm actually liking whoever I'm hanging out with. Obviously I won't hang out with a dickish person in
Of
the first
course,
place
of
because
course.
that kind of filtering I do at least
But,
minimal
please.
online.
Yeah.
Now, even that kind of like little, just taking that off the table or that out of the equation, like sex out of the equation, has suddenly made it so much better. Yeah. It's something I'm excited to further and try more once I go to Pune because again, I'm not only going back to my childhood friends who I've been like, again, so out of touch with ever since I moved to Bombay. Of course, I still meet them. I still know them. I know we'll all just right from where I left off, we'll all be friends again, all of that. But I just feel like I'm going back an entirely different person. I left them at a point when I was younger, and now I'm going back as this person who's lived on his own in a cutthroat, in a menacing city where hookup culture and sex and this and that and all of that has happened.
Looking forward to like a tale of two cities for us, It'll be so interesting. And, once you move to Pune,
it's a little anxiety inducing also because I feel it can really backfire also. But now I know enough because again, if I go back, I'm not going back for a change of boys, I'm going back because I know what my last 2-3 years have been like.
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for, what I'm not looking for. And the clearer that gets, the easier it is to, again, add value-added people in your life. Like people who bring some kind of value or who have some kind of depth again. And that's all I'm looking for now. And whether it comes from like a stupid 24-year-old, 20-year-old, or it comes from someone my age or it comes from someone older, I'm willing to like just meet a person to see who they are as an individual. And then if it goes in a sexual zone, let it go. If it goes in a friendship zone, let it go. If it goes in a fucking relationship angle, let it go. I'm
let it go.
But I've opened up like that in that sense.
Beautiful.
And it's happened.
That's nice.
I have to say it's happened very late and it's happened very recently. So I'm kind of excited about that. But sorry, again, I just want to, because I know this is a thing that a lot of people might, if not struggling, it is a part of a big, like, what's the word? The zeitgeist of being gay, which is being unable to like differentiate when sex ends, when friendship begins, when friendship ends, when sex should happen. Like, if you had to again like narrow that down and how to uncomplicate that, what would you say? Like that problem.
I feel like you need to ask yourself the question, do you want this person in your life first? And then answer very honestly, because when you're answering that question, listen to yourself very carefully, because that answer will automatically say what role you would like this person to have in your life. Usually what we do is we fixate on a role, on a person. We fixate, for example, I'm having sex with this person, and for example, if we are meant to be friends and be like, chitty chatty and just like, freewheel with each other, sometimes it starts pissing us off because it's like, oh my God, that's not enough commitment. That's not enough sort of, solid, amity, like solid sort of coupledom that I am sensing from this person. And then what ends up happening is we cut that person out of our life. Instead, we need to ask ourselves, do you want this person in your life? If yes, then how do you want this person in your life? Do you want this person? What are the things that you enjoy? Does this person make you happy? Does this person's company make you happy? If that is yes, then this person doesn't need to necessarily...
There is no if, it has to be a yes.
No. I'm saying, what I mean is that doesn't mean that this person necessarily has to have a romantic, sort of role in your life. This person can also be a friend. So then go with it. We like labels. no matter how much we reject
That's
labels,
it. That's what
we
I was looking
like
for.
labels.
Yeah.
And I think we need to loosen up the labels and let fate and let the flow
Yeah.
of things decide the labels. That,
I think a lot of times this labels is done because we try to make sense of our surroundings
yeah,
and
and
the
we do it,
people.
but then we do
And
it too early. That's the thing. We should just
exactly.
let it take its natural course, like let it happen by itself.
Because, like I said earlier, also, there is an extra level of specialness when you sexually are with someone, and then at some point that fizzles out, and you'll just end up still being in each other's lives as friends.
Yeah,
There's a great like thing to explore there because it's out of the way, and then
yeah,
you are with that, and it doesn't necessarily mean now we need to be boyfriends or something,
yeah,
but it's a great space to be when you all got that out of the way, and like it's a great feeling.
yeah,
I have 2-3 of those kind of friends who, yeah, sure, we fucked and all, but now we don't, and
yeah.
I'm like, it's not like, when he's in the room we are like, or he's thinking or I'm thinking like, fuck, what now what if we have sex, oh my god, we stopped. None of that, you're
Mm.
just like, hey, we used to do that, it was stupid, and now it's this
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
it, and it's great, it's such a good feeling.
yep.
Oh my god. Friends really can be so much.
It
Especially
is, especially for
friends
us.
can be
And
everything, and a great lesson also, I have to say, in again being a part of this community. So many times, like, I'll tell you what, I recently met someone who, like, again, online is very naturally woke and very, like, very I found very interesting and says a lot of interesting things. But when I met him in person, he was very hissy, and like
mm,
everything had to be like a snide comment, and
mm,
not directed to me, but in generally, that eye rolling kind of sassy
yeah, yeah,
gay
yeah.
cliche. And I just felt like, I don't know. I'm chill in life now. Sure, okay, but I couldn't help but feel bummed that why did that happen? Where I found this person interesting online, but offline they are this. Maybe they're just putting on. Maybe it's the first time we are meeting.
Mm,
That's whatever. And he doesn't necessarily fall in the friend category, but I wanted to explore a friendship
mm,
with him because I
yeah.
thought he could be a good friend. But then I felt like what I try to get at is the older you get, your time to like create friends is limited. In what sense, I'll tell you, because you're quick at letting people go
Yeah,
when you're
yeah,
older.
yeah.
And it doesn't take much. At one point,
You
it used to
you
require
give
so much
people fewer.
energy.
Yeah, you give people fewer chances. That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, and at one point, if you had to undo a friendship, it would take so much effort, right?
yeah,
You had to make small talk, and
yeah,
you had to like ghost politely, and you had to this. The older you get, you stop giving a shit. You just stop responding. It's just
yeah.
like, don't give a shit. Like, okay. But then, yeah, that's a good meter to know who's a good friend, who's a bad friend, because if with someone
Mm,
you can't do it easily, keep that person. Like,
yeah,
maybe they are meant to be in your life in some way.
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much.
Eh,
And hi. I guess are we towards the end of our podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, obviously, like this is. I mean, I know I want to wish you all the best for for the move to Pune, and obviously both of us are moving homes, and
Yeah.
and hence we've decided to take a couple of weeks off, and we'll be back. Obviously, we've been doing this continuously for a while, and we'll be back
65 weeks.
65, more than that.
Yeah.
And we'll be back very soon. Just a couple of weeks of
A
respite,
short sabbatical.
a little short
But
sabbatical.
hey, before we go there, since you're talking about friends, this is a little Thanksgiving type speech, but I want it to be known that Shinetri, you're a great friend. I hope you know that, and I've made you a friend over this podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, a lot of times I feel like people who listen to us, we don't talk. Me and you don't really talk
We don't talk. We just
outside of the
exactly.
podcast
We
at
just
all.
WhatsApp
Yeah,
to
but
like not copious conversations. This is where we
sure,
really really talk.
sure, and to come here and suddenly once in a week unload and listen to each other and say things that we would not even say to a therapist
I
sometimes and to each
agree.
other.
I agree.
So I want to take a little moment and thank you, like, for being such a
Right,
good listener,
right
such
back
a
at
good friend, and all of that, everything in between.
Right
really.
back at you. And I can't,
Really.
I mean, I when we are back, I'm just really, really looking forward to what amazing conversations we can have with our very, very different experiences from.
Unless I'm a bitter old Parsi person in Pune. But
Well, that would be a great pin to have on the show too.
a great layer.
Yeah.
A great layer. Yeah. Who you got? I got a migraine. Talk to me later.
All right.
Man. We'll see you guys when we see you. Keep messaging us. Just because we're taking a short sabbatical doesn't mean we are not accessible.
Yeah.
We will see you soon. Please send us great suggestions of when we are back.
Yep.
We love you. Yeah,
we love you. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sunetro. Thanks, GAYBCD. Thanks to producers. Thanks, IBM Podcast, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, now I'm making this into
You're making it. Also, you're making it sound like we are going off air. Like, please stop that right now. This is not the finale.
I'd like to thank my mom. I'd like to thank my dad. I'd like to thank my cat. And I'd like to thank the lovely fillet of Ravas that is waiting for me for dinner.
Sure. Yeah. Let's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I'll talk to you soon. And we'll see you guys soon. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do you wonder what goes inside the mind of an achiever? How do they manage to get back up on their feet in spite of their failures? Do they really do something different? You're absolutely right. Yes, they do. I'm Aditi Surana. Join me every Wednesday and Friday on my show Absolutely Right, where I use my special tool of handwriting analysis, also known as graphology, to interview high performers and study secrets behind their success and personality. You can catch us on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.
We live in an age of disruption, of immense change in every aspect of work, life, and business. But is the old way of doing things truly dead? And are we ever going to stop saying the new normal? Join me, Varun Dugirala, on Advertising is Dead every Tuesday as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, creators, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond to dig a little deeper into how we got here, what we're doing now, and where we're headed. You can catch all the episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.